Gunat Kana, Akuni, my friends, Guna Suwu, kinsmen through ancestors, Shinket Shinesh, Yanyani Shuhat Duathok, Hatsu Shaneya, Tekwidia Yahat, Katsit Hatsate. My name is Will Micklin. My Shinket name is Yanyanish. I am second vice president of the Central Council of Tlingit and Haida Indian Tribes of Alaska. That is a traditional indigenous government with an inherent authority established by our 30,000 tribal citizens and jurisdiction within our traditional and Aboriginal territories. We are an indigenous government exercising our self-determinate powers over the last 10,000 years. We are not an indigenous group. We are not a voluntary or non-governmental or civil society organization. We are indeed an indigenous government that has jurisdictional and powers of self-determination democratically established, and a history with time beyond memory that we mark by milestones such as the eruption of the volcanoes near Sitka and Mount St. Elias near Yakutat. We appreciate the invitation to come and speak to you today and this morning on the venues available for participation of indigenous governments at the United Nations. And we thank the other actions of this body, such as the World Conference on Indigenous Peoples and the outcome document that commits to enable participation of indigenous peoples, representatives, and institutions to work at the United Nations. We are eager to participate in this consultation and the remaining three. We believe that this new category should, by its establishment, not affect the existing ability of indigenous peoples, non-governmental organizations to work within the United Nations as they do now. But we do believe that this new category ensures that indigenous governing institutions who have authoritative jurisdictional powers within their communities is at a minimum should be able to participate in activities of the United Nations in a manner comparable to, but not equivalent to member states. So we believe that the venues should allow the ability to attend meetings, to submit written information, to make oral statements and propose agenda items, and that these rules, although not as the same as for member states, but in its application should allow for the relaxation in some instances on the length of the oral and written statements when compared to non-governmental organizations, so that there would be a priority established, not that equivalent to member states, but preference to non-governmental organizations, and that would allow for speaking time for representatives, particularly elected representatives of indigenous governments, to participate, to speak to the record, and with preference for seating. It's a high priority for indigenous governments to have their elected representatives participate in these venues and add to the record through this enhanced participation. We believe that the venues should include all meetings of relevant UN bodies as called for in the outcome document that I referenced from the World Conference on Indigenous Peoples, and that indigenous governing institutions should enjoy opportunities to contribute to the work of the Economic and Social Council and its subsidiary councils, the Human Rights Council and its subsidiary bodies, the treaty bodies, the Universal Periodic Review process, and in meetings of the General Assembly and its main committees. All are relevant bodies dealing with issues concerning Indigenous peoples and the expression of the views of the Indigenous peoples through their elected representatives, through their established Indigenous governments are, we believe, of paramount importance. So the status should apply to Indigenous governing institutions, that they be authoritative and duly established decision-making bodies recognized by their own Indigenous constituents. And so these bodies may be known as customary, traditional, or constitutional, Indigenous parliaments, assemblies, or councils. However established, we believe that their participation in all the venues of the United Nations, whether the General Assembly or subsidiary bodies, would be of essential importance. So we thank you for the opportunity to contribute to this. We will add to the written record between now and the next consultation meeting with some more definitive suggestions on not just the venues, but the other issues addressed today and in the subsequent meetings. I thank you for the opportunity to speak. Consultation.